What is up, guys? Necrochasm here, and today we are going to be showcasing every single exotic weapon you can earn from the updated CROTA'S and raid reintroduced in the Age of Triumph for Destiny. We will be showing each weapon's stats and perks, as well as an accompanying mini review, showing you guys how these weapons perform at a base level, so you can know what loot to go after. Now guys, if you enjoy this content and want to see more, please remember to support the video by liking, commenting, and especially sharing. It's a simple thing to do, but it really does help me out. So, let's get started here with the Necrochasm. This was the original exotic weapon tied to the original CROTA'S End. It's not technically one of the exotic primaries that are actually earnable as a drop from CROTA'S End, but I thought a lot of you would be expecting it, so might as well include it. The Necrochasm, again, you can't actually get as a drop, but you will eventually have to beat CROTA'S End on the 390 Lite version to get this weapon. It's a pretty darn unique auto rifle. It's fast firing, so it belongs to that archetype, but its exotic ability causes enemies to explode, exactly like killing a cursed thrall and hurting all enemies around them, making it really good at taking down a bunch of adds. If you take this thing into an arc burn playlist, like if you take it into heroic strikes with arc burn and you kill one thrall or one acolyte in a group, it is disgusting. It just demolishes all of the lower tier adds. Unfortunately, that ability really doesn't come up in a variety of places. When you're damaging the higher tier adds, it doesn't matter as much. When you're damaging a boss, it doesn't matter at all. So that is the downside in that regard. But overall, it's a pretty versatile weapon. Now moving on from the Necrochasm, we have yet another Arc exotic primary weapon, the Fang of Edict Scout Rifle. This is one of the new exotic Adept version of the old raid primaries for CROTA'S End. This overall is a very potent scout rifle. It has a pretty damn good starting range and stability, and the perks only add to those great starting stats if you want them to. And so again, overall, just solid scout rifle. Being able to actually utilize a scout rifle, by the way, is very good in a variety of different PvE encounters. Whereas compared to the Necrochasm, you're not going to be able to deal with those enemies far away. Using the Fang of Edict, you can absolutely snipe, especially again on those arc burn playlists, hobgoblins and a bunch of enemies just from absolutely across the map and take them down very, very quickly. So you do get a degree of versatility when using the Fang. Another interesting thing is that it has the passive perk Hive Disruptor, dealing increased damage to Hive Majors. All of the different Adept primaries from CROTA'S End have this passive perk, making them very good in playlists where you're versing Hive, better than your average even arc primary weapon like the Zalo, like the Necrochasm. This weapon does uniquely let you choose between two perks, the first one being Target Mark, highlighting enemies that you damage. Now that's essentially the same as Keen Sense. You next have Spray and Play, increasing the reload if your magazine is empty. Both of those are fairly underwhelming and won't hugely impact how the gun performs. However, it is of course nice that you have the option to choose which one you prefer, and that adds a degree of versatility to this weapon. However, I do want to mention this, when we have arc weapons, because there is the Zalo Supercell and the Necrochasm, arc exotics that were actually designed to be exotics and have really good exotic abilities, the arc adept weapons don't seem that good. When you're looking at something like the Zalo Supercell, its exotic ability gives you increased super energy when you get double kills, and it causes electricity to chain between enemies. It's a super good gun, and these are really just raid primaries that have been turned into exotics. So you have a lot of competition in the arc primary section is all I'm saying. And keeping on the theme of arc primaries, next up we have the Oversoul Edict. This is all around an incredibly potent and powerful pulse rifle. Try saying that 5 times in a row. But seriously, this gun has decent range. It has pretty decent stability, and it has a 33 round magazine, which is much better than the other guns in its archetype now, and its archetype is the fast firing pulse rifles. So previously, the Clever Dragon and the Grasp of Malik in this same archetype were absolutely top tier. So top tier, in fact, that they got pretty substantially neutered with the most recent balance patch. And so therefore, the Oversoul isn't as good as it once was. Definitely not as good as it once was. But it's still a fully automatic pulse rifle with very good stats, and it's an arc primary weapon. Unfortunately, the unique perk just deals more against the Hive. It makes you able to shoot through Knight's shields, which obviously is very good if you're versing the Hive, but some of the CROTA'S weapons have overall just good perks in this perk slot, and so when you have a very specific perk that only deals with Hive, it is a downside. Alright, now moving off of the arc weapons, we have the Void Word of Crota. This hand cannon is actually pretty damn potent. Hive Disruptor as always, and most importantly, it has explosive rounds. Very, very good in PvE. You can put Hammer Forged on if you want to use this thing in PvP, but I would recommend Explosive for PvE engagements. It also has the Phantom Gift perk, which is basically the precursor to Triple Tap. It literally is the precursor. The Word of Crota was in the game before Triple Tap was introduced in the House of Wolves, so they modeled Triple Tap after the Phantom Gift perk the Word of Crota has. And overall, it's pretty damn useful. It's very, very good because it is Void. Right now, it's the only Void primary in the game. That's going to change when we have more of the raids featured. But again, right now, it is the only one. And being a Void primary is quite good because there isn't a whole bunch of offensive Void subclasses. You have the Voidwalker Warlock as the only one. The Night Stalker and the Defender, they aren't doing a ton of damage with their supers, and so having a Void primary to deal that damage in those Void playlists is quite effective. The Word of Crota also belongs to the fast-firing hand cannon archetype, making it not amazing for PvP, but actually definitely not bad for PvE. Having that faster fire rate along with explosive rounds and just void damage, it can cause a lot of damage in a very short period of time. And moving on from there, we have the Abyss Defiant Solar Auto Rifle. Now, this weapon again has Hive Disruptor, but most importantly, it has the option to choose between two different perks. Firstly, Focus Fire, slowing down the fire rate when aimed down sights, but increasing the damage. Actually a pretty good perk, especially right now, since auto rifles have gotten a buff where they deal more base headshot damage, and the Focus Fire perk plays on that strength, increasing the damage as much as you can so you get the most of that bonus. You can also just choose Hip Fire if you're not interested in Focus Fire, making this gun just the normal medium rate of fire auto rifle archetype. And so that is pretty cool. It adds a degree of versatility with this gun, and different people are going to have different preferences with what they want to run. So that is definitely a strength of this gun, the versatility. The unique perk is Lichbane, and this causes wizards to flinch essentially, and this is definitely not bad. Wizards can definitely be a problem, and if you're on Omnigul, this is a very, very useful gun to use. You can just constantly damage her with this, and she'll flinch and flinch and flinch. So seriously try out that strike with this weapon. However, that perk compared to even what we just saw with the Word of Crota, and it has the Phantom Gift perk, essentially triple tap, that's going to be much more useful overall, whereas Lichbane is only useful in those narrow scenarios, so that is definitely the downside. But all in all, it's just a solid auto rifle. No matter which of the two perks, Focus Fire or Hip Fire, you choose between, this thing will just be very good across the board. It also has the benefit of having those solid starting stats and not really needing a ton of perks to help in that regard. And so guys, that's it for all of the different exotic weapons you can earn from CROTA'S End. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative. Now if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.